Welcome to Above Par. I'm your host, Kathy Hartwood. I show you how to take more of your talent to the golf course without practicing harder, taking more lessons, or buying new equipment. I show you how to end the frustration of underperforming so you can start playing to your potential. This is where you are going to learn how to think above par so you can play below par. Let's get to it. Hey, my golf friend. Welcome back to Above Par. I'm so happy that you're here and listening. I hope you're having a beautiful summer so far. Playing lots of golf, whether it's casual rounds or competitive rounds, because that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, is the difference between a casual round and a competitive round. Now, obviously, you know what it is logistically, but how does it feel? How do you manage yourself mentally between the two? And the bigger the disparity between a casual round of golf in your world and a competitive round of golf in your world, it could be just a club competition, it could be a state competition or a national competition. The bigger the disparity in the way that you feel relative to those two types of rounds of golf, tells a lot about what's going on in your noggin, right? And I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. Because often people will say to me that they really don't like competition, or competition makes them very nervous. They don't like the way they feel in competition. They want to compete and they want to play in the events, but they have a hard time managing their mind. Now, of course, this is what I coach on, and this is true. Part of the reason that is true is because when you go out and play in a tournament, you, as I say, shake your hamster cage, right? You freak yourself out unnecessarily because you create a lot of fear and anxiety and the idea that you could possibly have some social or emotional pain. And this wakes our brain up, right? And comes up, and you come up with all these thoughts and emotions that if you don't know how to manage them, they own you, right? They control you. They dictate your day. They define your results. And if you do it enough times and you don't create great results, competition doesn't become very fun. And if at the end of the round, if you don't have a very fun round, or if you don't score very well and you treat yourself poorly, competition's not so fun, because the only way that you're going to get through that competition and enjoy it is if you have a good result. And so now you're going to put tons of pressure on yourself to create a good result, and now it's full of pressure. Right? So you got fear and pressure, and you're like, why the heck am I even playing in these tournaments to begin with? Which is the ultimate question. Why are you playing in competition, right? That's really, why are you doing it? Is it fun? Do you find that you have so much more relief when you play casual rounds of golf? Because that for sure is an option for you. Of the billions of people who play golf, maybe too many, of the millions of people who play golf around the planet, there's a ton of people, a vast, probably majority of them, who just play casual golf. Meaning they really don't care about their results. They don't care about their score. They're just playing with their friends. They're not showing up and playing in any tournaments. They're not playing in any events, maybe at a club or a local club. That's a level of golf. That's an experience. Golf is a recreation at that point. Likely, if you're listening to this podcast, golf is not a recreation for you. Golf is a little bit more than a recreation. You want to enjoy your experience and your results. You care a little bit about how you show up on the golf course. You can tell that you're getting in your own way. You care a little bit more about your score and your results. You could still have that experience and not play in competition, which is fine. Your competition could actually just be playing with different couples or different groups of people. It could be just betting a couple bucks per side. That's competition in itself. So I want you to be really aware of how you feel in what you would define as your casual round of golf and how you feel in a competitive round of golf. And the goal isn't to make them the same, because they're not the same. It's not apples and oranges. They are different. The goal is to get them as close together as you possibly can mentally in your head, so that your brain becomes very comfortable in both scenarios. Where we get a little tripped up is where our casual round of golf is super casual and we're experiencing a lot of relief from competition. We're not worried so much about the results. We show up a little bit differently when we're out there. We might not take anything seriously. We might converse more than we normally converse, right? We might eat and drink more out on the golf course, those casual rounds, than we would in competition. And then you sign up for a competition and you show up, or even the night before, and you start freaking yourself out because it seems so different than what you've been doing in those casual rounds with your friends, your buddies. Now the disparity is huge and your brain is unfamiliar. Your brain is not comfortable. Your brain's like, what the heck is going on? We're in danger here. Something horrible is going to go wrong. You could experience emotional pain like disappointment and shame and embarrassment, or you could have social pain like rejection or humiliation, right? And because of that, you produce more fear and anxiety. It becomes harder for you to perform well. If you do not know how to manage your mind, you feel like you're at the effect of the game of golf. And the chances of you producing a result that you're really proud of and happy with are not so great. So what I would love for you to do, and what I want to encourage you to do through this episode of this podcast, is to get them closer together. So I want to elevate your casual round of golf, and I want to deflate your competitive round of golf so they get closer. So your brain is more comfortable in both situations. And keep in mind, I'm not saying you're playing at a national level per se. Competitive golf just means you're showing up and playing at events. It could be ladies' day, it could be men's day. It doesn't matter. It's just something that feels a little bit more competitive and structured to you. And one of the biggest mistakes that people make is when they play their casual round of golf, they get sloppy and they get lazy. They rehearse things, thoughts even, lack of mental management, lack of a pre-shot routine. They rehearse it in their casual rounds of golf. And to me, it would be like going to the range and deliberately practicing a shank, right? Would you do that? Probably not. Why would you not practice a shank when you go to the range? The reason is because you are constantly trying to get rid of variables in your swing so that you're more consistent. You're trying to create repetition in your swing. You don't want to introduce a move that is very dramatic and mechanically flawed into your swing in case it becomes a habit, right? You create less consistency. Why would you do that? Hopefully you're not, right? Same thing with the mental part of your game. Why would you go out during a casual round and rehearse negative thoughts, or not practice with an intention, or not set boundaries? Right? Why would you go out there and not do your pre-shot routine exactly like you do it in a tournament? Why would you not mark your ball? Right? The more you do something over and over again, a routine in itself produces certainty for your brain. Right? I talk about calm, certain, and confident. Certainty is a beautiful thing. You can stack on to certainty. Pre-shot routines give you certainty. It gives your brain familiarity. It tells your brain you're safe. When you're safe, you're less nervous and anxious and fear. Okay, so let me go through a few things that I want you to elevate your casual rounds of golf. And that would be to consistently do your pre-shot routine. Make it the same every single round of golf you play, with the intention that you do not want to rehearse a bad habit by not doing it. Mark your ball or line up your ball. Whatever it is you do, do it every single time. Play your ball as it lies. Right? If you're consistently rolling your ball over in a casual round of golf and then you go play in an event and you got to play it as it lies, you're gonna freak yourself out a little bit. Right? Or you also might go in and accidentally move your ball during a competition because you've been doing it so much in a casual round of golf. One of the other things that trips people up in casual rounds of golf too is people, conversations, where we don't set boundaries. We get a little sloppy around the green where people stand, or you might be talking to someone as you're walking into your golf shot and then you go up and you really haven't picked your club or decided what the yardage is, or realize that you had an uneven lie because you're so busy having a conversation. Give yourself some space around the shot to make sure that you're doing your caddy duties, picking your club, figuring out the yardage. Okay, first figure out the yardage, then pick your club, right? Actually, it goes first figure out the yardage and your lie, and then you pick the club last. Okay, so do all your caddy duties, go through your pre-shot routine, set a space for that, set a boundary for that. Ask the people in your group, just give you a second, right? They can stop talking or you can stop talking for 30 seconds, right? And then you can carry back on, but create that space around each shot. Make sure you go out and set an intention. Setting an intention is about having something for your brain to look for, something that is going to serve you, some way that you can keep growing your mental skills while you're on the golf course. You're going to set an intention about how many times you're calm, certain, and confident over a shot. You're going to set an intention about how ticked off or how long you are ticked off after a golf ball. You might set an intention if your brain is focusing on results to bring it back to the present moment. Whatever is relevant for you that day, Set an intention. Give your brain something to look for on the golf course. If you look for it, you'll start seeing results of it. So make sure it's a positive thing, not a negative thing. And then maybe even consider making a casual bet. Could be for a drink, a couple bucks, something to just keep you focused and present so you don't get sloppy or create bad habits. Right? That's how we elevate up our casual rounds of golf so they become more consistent with the things that we do in a competitive round of golf. So with competitive golf, what I want you to do is ask yourself how you can make it more fun. Now, this goes back to one of my episodes previously where I talked about being able to walk off 18 and saying I'm 18 proud. That was 18 holes where I'm pretty proud of myself for the way that I showed up. Might not necessarily be tied to a score, but you can walk off and be proud of yourself. If you could play in competition, walk off 18 and be proud, regardless of your results. And I am not saying you're not going to be disappointed. We sign up to play the game of golf. We sign up for the possibility of being disappointed, embarrassed, shamed, angry, frustrated, right? It's golf. And if you're not willing to experience that, then you're only going to play casual rounds of golf. And I think still in casual rounds of golf, we can experience that for sure. So what could you do to walk off 18 and feel 18 proud? The other thing is the more you tie your results to how you get to speak to yourself and what you make it mean about you, the more you're going to freak yourself out, the more pressure you're going to put on yourself to perform. Because if how you get to feel is tied to your score, it's going to be very hard for you to relax and have fun and be calm, certain, and confident on the golf course. Right? To your brain, there's a lot at stake. It wants to freak you out. It wants to keep you on high alert. Put a little pressure on you. So the closer you can get your casual round of golf, the experience out there, the things that you do, the pre-shot routine, how you keep things very consistent, how it all becomes very familiar to you. And the more you can take your competitive round of golf and not make them such a big deal. And the reason we make them a big deal is because of what we make the result mean, which is really ultimately all about your relationship with yourself. The closer we get them together, the better you're going to perform in your competitive rounds of golf, your tournaments, the more you're going to enjoy the experience and the better results that you're going to create overall in both scenarios, in your casual rounds of golf and in your competitive rounds of golf. And then you go into a round feeling more like you have control, where you're not at the effect of the game of golf. All right, my friends, if you're competing, if you're playing in tournaments, I want you just to be really aware of the difference that you think and feel about a competition and your casual rounds of golf. And let's work on getting them closer together so that you can perform well in both scenarios. All right, my friends, if you need any help with this, I encourage you to get on my email list at kathyhartwood.com/join so you can hear about all my programs. Have a beautiful week, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye.